Welcome back to the podcast. You're here, you're back. We are back together recording. I last night had a little bit of a spiral, and I wanted to share with you a meditation that brought me a lot of peace. Okay. And I'm going to play it for you. Can I play it for you?
I mean, can I ask like what situation prompted your need of peace?
Of course, by all means. I heard something tragic about people I don't even know and terminal illnesses.
Oh,
and that led me to just sort of like feel sick to my stomach, thinking about the future, thinking about getting older, thinking about really things that to me, and sometimes, you know, things that my brain can tell me are inevitable. And that it's just a matter of time before everything crumbles around me and my body crumbles. That kind of thing.
I had actually a similar spiral on my Instagram. A post came up that was like, people don't talk enough about the specific kind of experience of watching your parents get older. Like, like get senile and stuff. And I'm reading the comments and it's like, my mother has Alzheimer's. And I'm just like, you know, 10 minutes into this complete doom spiral. And I'm just like, why is this happening? Why do I have to do this right now? Why did the algorithm decide I needed to be depressed for an hour on a Monday?
Completely. Yeah. I came home from seeing some friends, which is how I found out about this. And all of these things were swirling around in my head. And I haven't turned to Louise Hay in a minute. Okay. But I decided to turn to her because she, you know, can have some powerful affirmations, and she can almost, have you heard of the phrase ominous positivity?
No, I've heard of toxic positivity, but I've not heard of ominous positivity.
So I believe it's called ominous positivity. And it's basically this idea that like good things are going to happen to you and there's nothing you can do to like stop it, to control it.
Okay.
Like good things are going to happen. It's kind of this like, you know, new school of thought, if you will, or just like this new way to think about things. Like I can't even help that like all the good things that are going to happen to me in my life, they're coming at me regardless, which is positive. And anyway, that I would describe Louise Hay's like affirmations and her books, You Can Heal Your Life, as sort of ominous positivity. I turned on a favorite YouTube video of mine, which is 101 Power Thoughts by Louise Hay. Okay. It's an hour-long video, and it's just her giving you power thoughts. So let me just play a specific section that I found to be extremely powerful, and I think you will too. Okay. And I want to give it.
We've never started off the podcast with like a beautiful inspirational quote for people to live their lives better. This is like,
I know.
This is stunning. This is a new tone for our show.
I know. Well, you just wait till you get to the insights she offers.
My higher instincts and listen to my heart. I am at peace in my world and affairs. I trust the process of life. We are learning how life works. It's like learning your computer. When you first get a computer, you learn the simple, basic processes, how to turn it on and off, and how to open and save a document, how to print. And on that level, your computer works wonders for you. And yet, there is so much more that it can do for you when you learn more of its ways. It's the same thing with life. The more we learn how it works, the more wonders it performs for us.
I mean, is that not a stunning metaphor?
That is
simile,
so
whatever.
Gorgeous, Chandler. It is so true. The more we learn the ways of the computer, the more stunning things the computer can do for us.
So just picture this. Last night, I'm like laying in bed. I'm kind of crying, have my headphones on. And this happens at about 4 minutes into the, you know, hour-long power thoughts. And it just fully broke the spell for me because I was really feeling it. And it was like, it's like learning how to turn on your computer. You learn how to save a document. You learn how to print. It's the same way with life.
I know. It's like the Louise Hay thing for me. The train is so gorgeous and stunning and serene, and you're looking out the windows, you know, and it's like you're in a Lisa Frank animation with how beautiful life is until you get to the chapter where she's like, and this is how you know, heal your cancer with cantaloupe. And you're like, fuck, none of this is real.
I would actually like to pay Shivam, our dear editor, to maybe re-edit the power thoughts into just really the better parts of it. I need like 77 power thoughts. I don't need 101 because
exactly.
I mean, she has another section that also feels very dated. That's like, I am at peace with my sexuality. I believe that in other lives I have been heterosexual and homosexual. And I'm like, is this used to like help people who feel like they're gay? Like, I just like.
Oh,
anyway,
Louise.
if you can trudge through some of those sections, I would say I heartily recommend 101 Power Thoughts. All right. Well, thank you for going through that with me, Lauren. How was your birthday?
Thank you for asking. Birthday was wonderful. We did a boat day here in Puerto Rico. It was super fun. I did, however, land in the emergency room the day before.
I knew this, but Mom told me not to tell you.
Wait, Mom told you?
Mom just told me, but she was like, don't say anything to her about knowing.
Why is Mom telling my personal medical information to other people?
I was on the phone with her and she was like, I gotta go. And she was like, Lauren's in the emergency room, but she doesn't want anyone to know, or like, don't tell her that I told you. So I just played it cool.
You did play it cool. And I didn't tell you because I was saving it for the podcast, which I guess Mom,
Well, but I don't know really
just
anything about this experience.
Okay, so basically I was walking to the nail salon the day before my birthday, and when I was shaving my legs earlier that day, I had felt like a little bit of a fleshy bump, under a discolored area, and it just felt different from any other time I've had a bruise before. So I was
from your other fleshy areas.
I don't know, like it just felt interesting. Like I've never felt something like that before.
Okay.
For my other fleshy areas, yes, but specifically like any sort of trauma. So I was walking to the nail salon and then I was Googling like blood clot symptoms because, I've just had a long flight.
Are blood clots something you can see from the outside?
Well, not always. Okay. But sometimes. Sometimes. So one thing it says is that blood clots can sometimes be mistaken for Charlie horses. And a Charlie horse is when you wake up with like a bad cramp in your calf. Mm-hmm. Have you ever had this?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have never had that except for on my trip. I woke up a few times with a terrible cramp on my calf, like so bad. It took me like 30 seconds to like stretch it out and be able to, anyway, not be in pain anymore. So I was like, that coupled with this fleshy lump, I was like, this is weird. Like, this is not good. I've never had either of these things before. And our great grandmother passed away from a blood clot. So immediately my head starts spiraling and I'm just like, I'm going on this boat tomorrow. It's probably going to dislodge on the boat. Like I have like all of these disaster scenarios going through my brain. So instead of continuing to walk to the nail salon, I instead turned and walked into the local emergency room.
Oh my gosh.
Just go
the
straight
ER?
there. Yes, the emergency room. I checked myself in and I really thought I had a blood clot, everyone. I really did. I waited 3 hours in the emergency room.
I can't believe you didn't tell me about this at all. I had no clue this was happening.
Well, I thought it would be good content for the show. That's how life can be for me sometimes. I can't talk to you about things because I have to save it for the podcast. Anyway, long story short, I don't have a blood clot. It was literally a bruise. So this is what happened. 3 hours in, I went up to the lady because she had taken a $400 deposit. Wow. And I was like, if I leave, can I have my money back? And she said yes. And I left. I booked it out of there.
So you didn't even get a second opinion?
Well,
or you didn't even get an opinion?
I got a very low-key opinion from my friend who's a doctor. Her friend was a doctor there, and he like gave me a 10-second evaluation. Yeah. I was like, I don't think you have a blood clot, but then left. Yeah. I hadn't been actually formally seen. They didn't run any tests, nothing like that. So 3 hours later, when I'm still waiting, in the emergency room, I was just like, I'm out of here. So
basically, you were too cheap.
Basically, I was too cheap, and I decided to risk my life to get my $400 back.
Oh, wow.
That's my brain. And so then I had to go get my nails done at the local Walmart.
So, oh, gosh. How did that go?
Yeah. Honestly, they do a great job. $99, gel manicure, gel pedicure. They do an excellent job. I don't know how sanitary it is, TBH, but excellent job. And $120 with tip out the door. That's pretty good.
Let me just tell you, I have been doing my own nails.
Oh, wait. I want to talk about this journey for you.
And I've already paid myself back for my supplies with my
Your
two
nails
beautiful manicures.
Really
Don't they
good.
look great?
They actually do look really good.
I feel weird showing my fingers on camera. I'm like, they kind of look gross and ugly. But yeah, I actually do a great job.
You have always treated your nail appointments, like your nail and hair appointments, like you're a billionaire's wife. Like money is just endless. Like
money is endless.
Carte blanche
it's like,
budget.
I've got a Platinum American Express. Charge it.
Charge it, baby.
Will I be doing pay in 4? Maybe.
You've always gotten your hair done at the 4-week mark and your nails done at the 9-day mark. So I can understand why Ben was like, we need to pull back on this.
The nail budget was getting extreme. Also, I shifted from gel manicures to getting like gel X, which is like extensions, which is more expensive. And I wasn't changing the frequency. I was going just as often. And I also noticed that my nails were just feeling extremely brittle. And my good friends, my 2 best friends, do their own nails. And they've been like trying to sell me on it. And I've actually had one of them do my nails before. And anyway, I just took the plunge and I did my nails with them one time. And then I was like, I'm obsessed. I also feel like I can be very meticulous because at the nail salon, oftentimes when I want to get a design, it's a nightmare process because I feel like I'm very, picky and I don't want to make this person redo things, So anyway, it has actually been like a total joy and it's very relaxing. And you used to do this yourself.
Yeah, I did my nails a few times. I mean, it's just really hard to do it and not have it look like it was done by an 11-year-old for me personally. But yours look really good. So I'm really impressed. Is this a 3-hour process?
I'm going to tell you that the ones I did on Sunday were about 4.
Oh, see, it's not worth
it.
But
here's why. And I know it sounds terrible, but to me, it was something I was like looking forward to doing. And the actual process of painting maybe took an hour. It's really the getting the nail polish off.
Why don't you just do $10 removal and then come home and finish?
But I'm doing the same removal process as people at the nail salon. I think it's just like, I don't know. I need to perfect that technique. But I've linked everything also in our Amazon store, like the kit that I bought and everything. And what's crazy is that like the Amazon polish that's like very cheap, like has been working great.
That's amazing.
Ben actually did these designs for what it's worth, but yeah.
Oh, cute. I'm very happy for this development for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Before we move on, Chandler, can we discuss the gorgeousness that is Clean Simple Eats protein powder, my favorite protein powder on God's green earth?
Lauren, this protein powder is the one we have been drinking since college, since the days where, we shared a little apartment. And just like our love for each other, we don't plan on stopping loving Clean Simple Eats anytime soon.
Here's the deal, everyone. Someone messaged me. They're like, no, really, is Clean Simple Eats that good? Like, is it good? Or are you just BSing us? I swear on my unborn child's life that Clean Simple Eats is truly delicious. Okay, I don't even care about the ingredient quality, but their ingredients are clean and grass-fed. Mm-hmm. And more importantly to me, it tastes like a Frosty, a Wendy's Frosty, but it's a gorgeous protein drink.
I mean, I don't even think about the taste of it, if that makes sense. Like the taste is so perfect and delicious and consistent that I don't even like think about the taste. Like it's just like, oh, I know this is going to be good.
It's a treat.
It's a treat. It's wonderful. It's 20 grams of protein per scoop, 110 calories. We love it. Our favorite flavors are the Simply Vanilla and the chocolate brownie batter, as well as the mint chocolate. I think you love, Lauren.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love the mint chocolate. It tastes like a thin mint Frosty, just blended with ice and water or maybe a little milk. You guys go to cleansimpleeats.com, use code Pop Apologists for 10% off. Truly, it's my secret weapon to getting enough protein and feeling amazing, and it tastes delicious.
Pop Apologists, 10% off. Okay, Lauren, did you see Bethenny's post about starting a segment on her podcast about dating?
Okay, she's starting a dating segment.
Mm-hmm. It's like, let me actually look at what it's entitled, but it's still Just Be. It's not a separate podcast, but it's Just Be Dating.
I didn't see that she was starting this whole segment, but I did see this Dating 101 episode because you sent it to me this morning. I am so grateful you sent me this podcast episode. One, because I didn't know how little work you needed to put into a podcast episode. There's probably 9 minutes of original content. It's about 17 minutes long. There's 8 minutes of ads.
There's so many ads. I don't understand.
There's so many ads. But you guys, it's called Dating 101. And she basically just pontificates about how great she is the entire time. It gives no actual advice to other people that is useful whatsoever. And she essentially just shits on most other women. Did you notice that?
Yes. So when I first listened to it, I was like, am I just like so hard on Bethenny because she annoys me? And then I'm so glad when you listen to it, you also felt the same way, because I was just like, this is the most insufferable advice. If my friend was sitting across from me at lunch giving me this type of advice, I'd be like, I actually think we have nothing in common. It's the least like self-aware diatribe about how she is so good at capturing men. She's never had a problem. She knows exactly how to trap them.
Okay. It is truly like, even if I thought these things, I would never say them, which I don't think them aloud, obviously, but like saying them out loud, it betrays such a lack of self-awareness. And honestly, like, I feel like the term narcissist is just so overused in our society, but this entire episode is just like the biggest narc rant I've ever heard. And I'm a Bethenny Frankel like adorer. I think she's super funny. I actually enjoy her videos, even though I think they're completely unhinged and her decisions baffle me. So I'm not trying to hate on her specifically, but this episode was bad. And I want to play, actually, I just want to play for people like a little snippet so they can get a taste of what we're talking about.
Please. I wonder if you're playing the part that I wanted to talk about. So if not, I want to get to it.
There's only 9 minutes, so we could literally just play the whole thing and live react. Let's see here.
I think that one thing I'll also say while you find it is like, I think she's taking like the really tough love approach to dating advice, which I think can be helpful for people to be like, don't date boys, date men, just like really like hard lines. But unfortunately, she's also coupling it with like these very hard lines about dating, like, you know, essentially regurgitating some of like the rules and that type of dating wisdom. And, you know, he's not that into you kind of thing, with also saying, I'm perfect. She literally says at one point, I don't get cheated on. I don't have people leave me.
Let's just
so anyway, leave it.
Mouth.
Please play it.
You guys just imagine saying these words out loud to people at lunch, let alone to thousands, tens of thousands of people to listen to.
It's not that I don't even meet amazing men, because I do. And it's not that I don't meet amazing men that want to marry me and fall in love with me, because for the most part, I've never had a problem meeting men because I've usually been the least interested party. But I definitely have a lot of wisdom to share on dating, because I don't have to want to be with the men. My biggest issue has been not wanting to be with the men. And believe me, I've been in therapy for years, but I don't get cheated on. I don't get left. I don't get broken up with. That's just not my area for whatever reason. So
wait, let's just hold on.
The way that it's like, I'm such a perfect partner, or I'm so good at, these are her words, by the way, capturing a man, that I don't get cheated on.
I don't get left. I just don't have any expertise in that. It's just not my area. Like, I don't know why.
I'll also just say this. I also have never been cheated on to my knowledge. And I don't carry that around like a badge of honor that's something I did. I think that's just like my set of circumstances. You know, like I very well could have dated a guy who cheated on me.
It's just, I mean, and I personally have been cheated on. So that is my area. That is my area of expertise, unlike Bethenny. But I also actually don't carry it around with me and I'm like, I get cheated on. I'm a woman. Like this, unfortunately, this is my area.
Because it wasn't our fault.
And different people have different experiences.
Yes.
It's not a part of my identity.
Well, and I also just want to say, like, to me, it's just like all about the guy that you were just like luck of the draw with versus you. Anything she's acting like it was in her control to be cheated on. And that's the issue.
She's acting like it's because the subtext is, I'm so incredible that I've never had these things happen.
Yes.
And when she says, I don't know why, she's just like demurring.
Yeah.
Okay. So it continues.
I am absolutely qualified to discuss dating, getting the good guy, not settling, not dating down, all of it. I mean, without getting into any kind of detail, if I'm dating,
it's the worst.
My house becomes a florist, becomes the Brooklyn Botanical Gardens. So like it, don't like it, I don't really care. But
wait, it's so sorry.
Unreal.
It's unbelievable. Like the level of hubris, it's Gaston level. Like it's shocking. It's truly shocking.
Can you imagine saying that to your girlfriends? Like, oh, when I'm dating you guys, I just, like, for whatever reason, I don't know why, my house, like, it turned into the Brooklyn Botanical Gardens because men just send me flowers. Men of all kinds.
It's so unrelatable, okay? And then also, she then goes on to talk about how men basically like her because she's rich. Like that is also, I think, the subtext of the whole episode is like, I'm a boss. They don't even know what to do with someone like me who's so confident, who has her shit together. She literally says,
who can talk to you about anything business, who can meet you at the table or something, like with any business conversation.
She's like, it's like gaslighting them. They're so confused. First of all, it's so misogynistic. She's like literally putting down all women because I guess we're such idiots. So then she says, men don't want to pay for your children. They don't want to get you dental work done. They don't want a female charity case. It's just like, whoa, lady. Whoa.
She literally says too, like women, she's like, the giving tree, women become the taking tree. And I think she said like specifically divorced women or women with kids.
Yeah. Yeah. She goes after single moms as like, these like live action taking trees.
Yes.
It's truly so shocking. Also, what I think is very interesting about it is she basically says she becomes like catnip for men because she doesn't say this, but this is what she is saying, because she's fully in her masculine energy. Like she's a boss. She calls the shots.
Yeah.
She's directing her life.
Right.
And also like, she is rich and she doesn't need a damn thing.
I think what it reveals about her is that she clearly sees relationships and partnerships in a very archaic way, in my opinion.
I don't know how much of this is honestly true, first of all. Like, I think that this sounds a lot like a story she likes to tell herself, not to be a total B. This sounds like a really nice story for her. And also it's like, I look around and I'm just like, I actually don't know anyone. All my friends and in their relationships, none of them are in the Bethenny role. Like all of them are in the feminine energy role where they honestly like receive a lot. And so it's just actually shocking to me.
I also I think what she's feeding into with this whole Dating 101 episode is just like power dynamics. And I just like, I don't want to take advice from someone who views relationships in that way, and that black and white of a way.
Right. And I think that also she goes into like playing games and she's like, don't play games. Like men, when you're playing games, they just think you're another idiot who's read a book. And then she also like in the same breath basically says like, don't sleep with them on the first date.
But it's okay if you do, or like it was very bizarre.
It was so disjointed.
Yeah.
And so irrational. She would speak from one end of her mouth and then the other immediately.
She says too, I've had men who are used to sleeping with models in Miami, eating out of the palm of my hand. That is a visual that I did not want on this Tuesday morning. Anyway.
That we never needed. I mean, you guys, it is so worth giving a listen. It's Just Be Dating 101. Your mouths will be on the floor.
I also want to say this, and I don't want to sound callous, but I want to take marriage advice or dating advice from someone who's been because this is what I'm seeking, from someone who's been in a very long-term relationship with somebody, who has weathered some storms with somebody. Some of what she's saying might be true in some way, but like, this is just not where I want to go for my dating advice or for like finding the right guy advice, because I don't feel like she's a great case story.
No, I think it's such a good point. And I think that when it comes to Bethenny, I mean, why would you go to someone who like her relationships have not worked out, have not been successful? And a lot of them have ended like in flames. And so why would you go to her for expertise there? Like, you want to go to the person who's been married for 30 years and still has like a vibrant, loving relationship.
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
So funny. Can I talk to you about a product that you love, that Courtney loves, and that I love?
Please.
Early Bird CBD gummies are so phenomenal, everyone. They are the perfect 2.5 milligrams of THC and 12.5 milligrams of CBD. So this concoction, it gives you the warmest, gooeyest feeling.
They have the magic formula. I love the watermelon flavor. That's my favorite. I also love using them when I know I need to get a good night's sleep and I can sleep in.
You guys, we love Early Bird CBD so much. We reached out to them to see if they would be interested in sponsoring the show, because we were like, these products, these gummies, everyone needs to know about them. We're going to tell them about them anyway. So maybe we can get paid to do it. And honestly, we just cannot recommend them enough. We have a link in our show notes. You can go to earlybirdcbd.com, use code PopApologists20 for 20% off. earlybirdcbd.com, Pop Apologists 20 for 20% off. Do yourself a favor, try the gummies.
They ship to all 50 states, everybody.
You got to try it. earlybirdcbd.com. Okay, do we want to talk about Bethenny Frankel and Aurora Culpo and all of that?
Yeah, I think we should. I think we should just touch on it.
Okay, so Bethenny also released a podcast over the weekend, basically touching on all of this. And this is where I kind of get on team Bethenny, because she basically says that she was having her July 4th weekend and the press started to print all these stories about Paul and Aurora. She doesn't call her by name, but just said my ex and his new girlfriend, or, you know, his new partner.
Right.
And anyway, she says that it was just very stressful for her and honestly, like, unfortunate, because the way the narrative that was presented was that she was like so upset and stewing and jilted and like she was left. And she was like, actually, I was having a great weekend with my daughter. Everything is good. You know, it was a mutual parting of ways. And then this is interesting. She basically announced that Paul and Aurora broke up. Basically, she said Aurora's big mouth. She doesn't use those words, but she says Aurora basically going on Olivia's podcast and broadcasting all the details essentially cost them the relationship, and all the press that came out of it and all of that, it's over. So I thought that it was kind of interesting. It seemed like she just wanted to release the information that the relationship was done. Like that was actually the purpose of that podcast.
Yeah.
Just to mic drop all those stories with like, actually, this relationship is over. Click.
Is over. Yeah, I agree. I think she's too smart to accidentally let something like that slip.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. And so I guess I don't have any
Can I say
thoughts on
something
Aurora
else?
and Paul because it's already done.
Aurora and Paul, these are two celebrities I don't care about.
Chandler, everyone from the West Coast to the East Coast, okay? From Ibiza to Istanbul. Everyone wants to know about Aurora and Paul.
Exactly. No,
Aurora Culpo
snooze.
and Paul Bernon, who
Like
basically,
who?
I mean, we're total nobodies, but I think they have they're more in our realm than they are in Bethenny's or anyone actually in Nicole's realm.
Yeah, exactly. Can we move on,
funny.
though, to a celebrity
Let's,
story
please.
that I actually do care about?
Yes, please.
Let's talk about Gwyneth Paltrow, Derek Blasberg, Hampton's house, poop scandal, Poopgate.
Oh my gosh, Chandler, I am dying to talk to you about this because I found this to be such a oddly gratifying story. The schadenfreude for me could not have been more palpable. And
Why?
I didn't realize I carried so much resentment for Derek Blasberg within my body. Okay, I really need to talk about it with my therapist. But that became abundantly clear to me when I just reveled in the honestly disgusting details of the story. So without further ado, let me get into it. Okay, so who is Derek Blasberg, you might be asking? He and Gwyneth Paltrow have been friends for years. In 2016, Gwyneth told New York Magazine, "When I first met him, I was a little dubious. Are you a professional best friend of celebrities? And why are you everywhere at once? What's your deal? But after 10 seconds, I completely fell in love with him. She flies private with him, consults him for Instagram captions, and describes him as a Midwestern boy who can't believe who he's eating dinner with while simultaneously being completely comfortable with whoever he's eating dinner with. They've done web series together. They're just basically, you know, internet besties and also besties IRL. And they've been friends for years. So what happened, everyone? Well, this blind item was released by Dumois. And the subject is, that was a shitty thing to do. And it said, a New York City-based wordsmith did something really shitty at a certain A-list actress's turned entrepreneur's beachside abode. And this rumor is making its rounds around major Hollywood heavy hitters. After a pretty crappy incident, this permanent friend of didn't even bother to clean himself up, but instead left money for the cleaning staff, forcing them to scrub away at the walls, ceilings, and floors, which was allegedly the evidence of a wild night. Once the word got back to the owner, who was less than amused, she flipped out and told two uber famous friends at a lunch date. Now this rumor is making its way through Hollywood. Talk about an explosive exit. So essentially had an explosive diarrhea episode in Gwyneth's Montecito house. Can you imagine?
No. Desecrating that home.
I'm sorry, but like, this feels sacrilegious.
So are we to believe that she wasn't home at the time? That she was like, just like, hey, you can stay there. I'm not home.
Yes, I think we are to believe that she was like lending him probably the guest house.
Which makes the fact that he fled the scene of the crime, and didn't even attempt to like fix it and like hopefully just have it not be a blip on the radar screen, so unbelievable to me. And
Well, and I've had my own shitty situation, okay, pun intended, and we're going to cut at the end of this episode to a Pop Apologists, I'm going to call it Golden Moment, but it is quite the moment from the show. So everyone stay tuned for that. It's something you won't want to miss. Or you might actually very well wish you had never heard about it, but people have exclaimed that they've enjoyed it. Anyway, that is one of their favorite episodes. But I really, even with my expertise in this area, unfortunately, I don't know how diarrhea gets on the ceiling. I really don't.
Drugs. The only thing I can think about is just like you are on drugs. I don't understand either. I don't understand
Ozempic. But still, like
we've all had evacuations of sorts.
I know, but like how does it get on the ceiling?
I don't know either. I don't know if I don't know what
drugs are you
doing.
inside.
None. But I'm just saying, like, you have to be on another planet.
This honestly, what I was thinking of is it sounds like a bad dream. Like you tell like your friends you're like, I had this crazy nightmare. I literally like shat myself at Gwyneth Paltrow's Montecito house and was like desperate to clean it all up. Like it's a nightmare.
No, it's a full nightmare. I mean, I'm like, was there like a low ceiling above the bed and hands were on the ceiling of some sort? Like, I don't understand. And another thing I want to touch on is I think that Gwyneth Paltrow would not have leaked this secret or this kind of huge blunder unless like he kind of denied it. Or I think something behind the scenes just like continued to piss her off, because I think this is a pretty gross story. And even if your friend pieces out and leaves money, that's a really shitty thing to do, no pun intended. And I believe that she probably asked him about it, confronted him about it, and I just wonder if he like still denied it or acted like it was no big deal, because like
no, she was apparently really unhappy and she was very upset, and he left $300, and apparently her housekeeper quit
for real.
And also
because
like of it. My guess is $300 was not sufficient.
No,
I mean that's not even going to cover the top sheet that probably needs to be replaced.
I guess what I think too is like, if this is someone who's your close friend who has this terrible moment,
for sure, right,
to leak it to the Seinfeld and to Oprah, like you got to be like, you're burning the bridge completely. So I just wonder if behind the scenes he was like, meh, or like denied it or whatever, and she was just like, this is going up in flames.
I mean, very mortifying for this guy. Derek, if you're listening, things get better. We've been canceled before. We've had some internet hate. This will be behind you at some point. No pun intended. But damn, horrific. I can't even imagine. Here's the thing. It's like I can't imagine lucking myself into a relationship with Gwyneth Paltrow as a total normie, like being a bestie of hers.
Right.
Like staying at her house and then fucking it up so severely.
Here's what I would have done.
If
I woke up in this mess, I would get to work. I would begin completely stripping everything. And I would spend whatever time was needed to try to restore the home to its original condition. And then I would say, something awful has happened. I'm going to completely make you whole. Please don't ask any questions.
Right.
And I just don't understand, like, not being a person in this.
I think that's the reason this whole story was released, because it's like everything came out, was released, everything has like a pun. I think she was upset that he didn't do that, and she was upset that he just callously left a couple $100 for the cleaning crew. Like, and I completely understand that. Like, people are very, very protective of what happens in their homes, and
yeah, of course,
I just can't imagine how disrespected she felt.
No, absolutely. I also had a similar amount of disdain for Derek. And I think that's because besides the fact that I'm jealous that he's friends with all these celebrities, he doesn't really bring much else to the table in terms of being like likable to normal people. Like there are other like celebrity friends of that like seem to have a great personality or like seem to give something else to the normal people. But he just seems braggadocious and annoying.
No, I agree. He seems clout chasing and name droppy. I mean, his entire Instagram is just A-lister after A-lister that he's hanging out with. And yeah, it rubs me the wrong way. Okay. So
anyway, Lauren, we just got a startling text in our group chat.
We absolutely did. We need to discuss this, everyone. Gypsy Rose Blanchard is expecting baby number 1 with her boyfriend of 3 months.
Please tell everyone your first thought at this pick stitch.
When I first got it, I assumed this was some friend from college because it was a very kind of standard looking engagement announcement. We have, a girl in a white dress and a floral dress, and they're just standing in a field. These look like nice DSLR pictures. So I had to zoom in to see that this was Gypsy Rose Blanchard. And
it's a pregnancy announcement too.
I know, I said that.
Oh, I thought you said engagement.
Oh, sorry. Well, it looks like an engagement. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
You know what my first thought was?
What?
The plan of salvation is real. Okay? Because this woman literally had her mother killed. She did her time. She owned up to it. And look at now, she's living a beautiful life. Okay? She's paid the price for her mistakes. She's keeping it moving. I just think that no matter what lows we get to in life, we need to look at Gypsy Rose Blanchard. I mean, she got a gorgeous nose job. She's looking better than ever. Like, things can turn around in your life. You know what? You don't need Louise Hay to tell you this. Look at Gypsy Rose Blanchard to learn that you can heal your life, people.
This to me is 101 power thoughts. I just love also this top comment. Was this our best move, girl? I don't know who this gentleman is. She clearly has a thing for sort of nondescript white guys. Maybe you could say the same about me. And I'm happy for her.
I'm happy for her too. Okay.
Who doesn't have a thing for nondescript white guys? I don't know. Let Ye cast the first stone.
No, it's so true. Speaking of shallow commentary on appearances, I want to briefly touch on Brad Pitt's hard launching of his new girlfriend. Okay, at F1.
Was this the hard launch? I didn't realize this was the hard launch.
This was the hard launch. This is the first time they've ever been pictured in public together, like where they've known photographers are going to be there. She's front and center. They're arm in arm. It's only been like the haziest of pap shots up until now. Okay. So I very briefly want to get into this. And I'm not proud of my commentary on this. I know it doesn't reflect the best qualities of me as a person. Okay. So at least I'm self-aware about that. But Brad Pitt hard launched Ines de Ramon at the F1 Grand Prix at Great Britain at Silverstone Circuit. Anyway, Brad Pitt's fit is a little embarrassing for his age, but I will say actually has lots of riz.
Sure,
and he pulls
totally.
it off.
Yeah,
and
he looks great. Yeah, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yes. For me, I just want to say to this woman, to whom much is given, much is required. If you're dating Brad Pitt, I want to see a better look at your first hard launch outing than this cotton $10 Gap from 2009 baby doll knee length dress with combat ankle boots.
It is giving maternity dress.
I mean, it's just like objectively not of this time, like not of 2024.
No, this could be a photo from 2014 as far as I'm concerned.
These looks were on sale in 2014, 100%.
Yeah.
Every piece, even the necklace. I mean, the only thing that lets you know that this girl is in 2024 is the fact that we can see her nipples. So there's no bra. Because otherwise, I am just stunned and floored at this. And I know it's rude. I know it's rude.
She's so beautiful too.
She's beautiful, but it's just like, girlfriend, if you're going to get hard launched on the world stage, put together a good look for it.
Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's not a good
representation of women.
Maybe luggage was lost.
It's like, I'm sorry, but hashtag do better. Truly. Do better.
Do better.
Anyway.
She's so gorgeous.
She's pretty. Anyway, we're going to have the photos for people if you're watching so you can kind of get an idea of what we're talking about. But I just found this outfit to be flooring and shocking. Okay. But let's move on from superficial commentary, scrutinizing people's appearances, which is really not where I like to reside full time, just part time.
That's true. Can we talk about the Karen Reid updates?
Yes, please. Chandler, you are the Karen Reid update on this podcast, so lead us through what's going on.
Okay, so I'm going to summarize some of the latest developments. Obviously, we had our mistrial declared a week ago or over a week ago. And the latest news, like as of yesterday / this morning, is that Karen Reid's defense team received unsolicited communications from the jurors in the weeks following the trial. And because of this communication, they have filed a motion to dismiss. So basically, the lawyers, her defense lawyers, claim that the jurors said that, quote, in no uncertain terms, the jury had a firm 12-0 agreement that Miss Reid was not guilty of 2 of the 3 charges against her. including the charge of murder in the second degree. Also, the jury had unanimously believed that she was not guilty of leaving the scene of the crash. And then we have a quote from a juror that says, quote, "No one thought she hit him on purpose or even thought she hit him on purpose." So basically, the defense team is now trying to get both of those charges dismissed because this was a mistrial, and there are plans to retry her. There is this potential of double jeopardy, which is where
you get tried for the same thing twice, but you've already been
exactly.
And so there's been an actual decision on something, but so yeah, you can't get tried for something twice.
And so basically, this is sort of the fault, I think, or maybe this error or this mishap that I'm going to call it, lies with the judge. You can have certain charges being guilty, not guilty, and then you can have a mistrial or a hung jury on other charges. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. That absolutely makes sense. And I think that the thing for Karen Reid, the problem and risk for her is that they might retry her for instead of what was it, second degree murder, they might retry her for manslaughter. So just try to get her convicted on a lesser count, which is going to be much easier than the second degree murder.
It's like they're going to change the goalposts to make it more of a, an easier win.
And so if she's already been acquitted, though, of murdering him, they can't charge her for, it's not like they can say, okay, well, we didn't get her on murder, now we're going to charge her for manslaughter. It's like you have one shot to charge someone of a crime. And so you need to pick the correct offense once, because it's like we have a right in this country, and it's part of our civil rights to not endlessly have to defend ourselves.
Right. Well, that's why so much goes into what you're going to charge someone for. It's not just like a willy-nilly process of like, oh yeah, we'll charge them for all these things. So I'm going to paraphrase as well from Jodine Webster's Caught in My Web Patreon, which has been very fascinating. It's great. She's giving like daily updates. She also does a lot of other true crime stuff.
Yeah, Lauren and I are both subscribers. Which I recently learned.
Alan Jackson, her defense attorney, said that he was contacted deliberately by a juror, and the juror informed him that the jury was unanimous in voting to acquit Karen on those charges. And so he basically says that the judge denied Karen Reid her right to acquittal on those charges and failed to allow the defense to poll the jury before declaring a mistrial. And so what could happen is that, the prosecution has to then have a response to the motion. And then they could also do this thing called the voir de vie or something. It's like voir de. It's some French sounding word, but it's like where you poll the jury or you bring the jury in after the trial to talk to them about what their decision was.
I didn't know that was possible. I thought that like once a jury leaves, I guess like I think it's
really rare.
Interesting. Because I was thinking like you leave the courtroom and all of a sudden you can talk to people, you can read the articles, you're like, you're not impartial to just what's being tried and just what's in the court case. But I guess like the jury can all just testify to what the vote was at the time, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think it would be like what happened in that room. And I think as I was reading more about this is where my retelling might get a little hazy, but like I think they handed her the note saying we're a hung jury on this matter or whatever. But like, and basically she didn't take the time to then like kind of follow up about all the other charges to really get clear on like, okay, well, where do you stand on this charge? Where do you stand on this charge? And she just kind of, because they were a hung jury on that charge, which the murder or the second degree murder?
I don't know what the second charge is.
Basically, in summation, the court declared a mistrial without providing any opportunity for the defense counsel to be heard, and that the judge failed to ask the jury whether it was deadlocked on 1, 2, or all 3 of the charges in the indictment. And so that's, now with this new information, that's why they're filing the motion to dismiss.
It seems actually shocking to me that this judge didn't do that very rudimentary basic thing of saying, what were the votes on each count, on each charge? Like, are you hung on all of it or just part of it? It just seems like flooring to me. And some people are very skeptical of this judge.
Yeah.
They think,
right. Yeah, it's very odd. I don't know. I've never been a judge except for on this podcast.
True.
But yeah, I don't know. That just seems like protocol to me. I think we should also just briefly touch on that photo that we discussed in last week's episode, or the Patreon from last week, and this theory that it was a fake photo, or that it was
the photo
like
of Karen Reid and Alan Jackson getting cozy.
Yes.
Yeah. So
correct.
I think that I got a few DMs that were like, it's a fake photo. It's AI. It's been proven fake. So I looked that up. I Googled as much as I could, and I did not find anything definitive. I found it reported in lots of news outlets, and, none of the news outlets said that the photo was fake or that it was potentially not accurate. There was no kill notices, or there were no kill notices to the photo. I just think that this speaks to like exactly what the fear has been with AI produced images, which is that now with everything, there are going to be people saying that it's fake and that it's made by AI.
Right.
And I personally don't think it's fake, only because I just think that would be like, they would have released a statement. Like, they would have said that never happened.
Yeah,
like, we were never in that environment. It's completely inappropriate. Those are AI produced images and videos. Like, it would be very easy to just release that statement.
Can I say something?
Oh, please.
The other lawyer is much hotter. David Yannetti.
Really?
Yeah, like you see them standing side by side, and Alan Jackson, who definitely is, a bulldog in the courtroom, but David Yannetti is better looking compared to Alan Jackson. Anyway, that's all.
Well, maybe it is AI, Chandler. Maybe there's no way she would have gone for Alan. I think that like is Alan the more talented attorney?
I think he's like the top dog.
Yeah.
Some power, You know what? I bet Bethenny Frankel could just have any conversation with him. She would just meet him right
any
where
legal
where
conversation. I mean, she knows all about the law after her divorce, all about being an attorney.
Right.
She's definitely qualified for any sort of legal advice. Chandler, is there anything else we need to get into on this episode? I mean, do you want to talk about OC, or should we save that for Patreon?
Okay, let's save it.
Okay, Jen, let's cut to a golden moment on the show. Not a golden moment for me, a pretty shitty moment, pun intended, where I, had a very unfortunate evacuation at a wedding. Yeah, at a wedding. So we'll just leave it at that.
True.
And please enjoy my moment of humiliation.
Enjoy, everyone.
I have to tell you guys about my experience this weekend at this wedding I went to. As you both know, Kagan and we left your home at the base of the Rocky Mountains in Orem for the golden hillside landscapes of Sun Valley, Idaho. And I was really excited to go to Sun Valley because it's kind of like a bougie place, and I love a new bougie place. So I was very excited for this trip. And what I was told was we were going to a wedding in Sun Valley, Idaho. It was at her parents' house in their backyard. That was all I was told about this wedding. Okay.
Seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah. So I was going as Kagan's date. And these were all of Kagan's childhood friends. This is kind of all important foundation to the story. All of Kagan's childhood friends were there, like that they were all super close to when they were in elementary and middle school. And anyway, it was kind of like a reunion of sorts as well. So it was going to be this really cool weekend. And we got this really cute cabin Airbnb. I was so excited. I'm just excited for this new experience. I'm excited to check out Sun Valley, which is supposed to be really adorable. The morning of the wedding, I'm feeling fine. Everything is going great. Kagan and I get a cute lunch at a little like roadside pub or brewery. And then I would say it's 3 p.m. Our Uber is going to get there in 15 minutes. And I noticed that I am having to use the restroom frequently. Like every 5 to 10 minutes, I have to go. It's a word that rhymes with gonorrhea, but starts with die. The sound die.
My friend Angie calls what you're experiencing right now Lady Diana Spencer.
Yes, I had some Lady Diana Spencer. I had some Lady Dies every 5 minutes. And I'm like, this is strange. This is strange. But I also intermittent fast a lot. Yeah, for sure. I'll take the less bloating. And I intermittent fast a lot, which kind of can cause Lady Dies. So I was just like, whatever, par for the course. I'm elevation, whatever.
I love that your response to your own diarrhea is par for the course.
Oh my gosh. So we got an Airbnb and we get to the venue, and I was told this was a backyard wedding. We pull up. These people have an estate in Sun Valley, and there's a huge tent with tables for probably 150, and just everything is gorgeous. Like, we're at a 5-star wedding. My mouth is salivating. I am so excited for this experience. Like, I'm like ready for the welcome cocktail. I love a ceremony because ceremonies make me emotional and make me tender. And then I'm ready for a cocktail hour. I am ready for a stunning meal, a plated meal. I am ready for the cake. I'm ready to dance the night away. I love being a wedding guest. It's one of my favorite things. So I'm like getting excited. Okay. But I'm also feeling a little nauseous. I'm like, oh, it's fine. I'm just car sick from the ride-in. So then we go to the ceremony and it's very hot. It's a hot weekend. There's no shade at the ceremony. And so I'm feeling a little bit woozier toward the end of the ceremony, like so much.
Did you take that cocktail? You're drinking that drink too?
Well, actually, it was just a welcome lemonade, which I was hoping would make me feel a little bit better.
A Mike's Hard, if you will.
It was not a Mike's Hard lemonade. It was just a sugar lemonade. And I drank that during the ceremony. And by the end of the ceremony, I'm like, these people need to walk back down the aisle because I have to get out of here. Like, I need to go to the restroom. I'm dying. So I go to the restroom, and the restroom they have one of those air conditioned porta potty setups for everyone. So it was like it was a nice porta potty setup, but it was still like a porta potty. It wasn't like an actual like restroom. I get out of the 100-degree weather. I get into the restroom, and I am not well, you guys. I'm feeling like sicker and sicker.
No.
My stomach is turning as I tell the story. But I'm like, you know what? Like, I am just thinking, it's the heat. It was too much heat, and I just have to regain my composure. And I'm just going to spend 20 minutes in this air-conditioned restroom and there were other stalls. So I wasn't holding up the line. There wasn't a line. It was totally fine. I could have some privacy for like 20 minutes. So I have some lady die situations happen again. Aww. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to give myself 20 minutes. And if I don't, and I'm going to feel better after 20 minutes, but I'm just going to give myself 20 minutes to like rest and use the restroom a couple of times. So I do that. And at the end of the 20 minutes, I just feel worse. And so Kagan has texted me, and he's like, you can go to into the house, into their private like residence area. You don't have to sit in the porta potty if you feel sick. Let's get you upstairs. And by that point, I'm like, I cannot. The thought of standing at cocktail hour and trying to make conversation with people is just horrifying because I feel so sick. Yeah.
Everybody knows that feeling too.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, you cannot fake it any longer.
You're like on the toilet and you're like, I will need to be airlifted from this seat to another seat.
Were you in a pretty fancy dress?
Okay. That's it. Courtney, you brought us to exactly what happens next. You're gonna die. Okay, so I'm in that powder blue dress that I owe you some money for.
Oh my! I'm so glad I made you buy this from me, and not just rented it to you.
So I get up from the restroom, I wash my hands, and I depart the porta potty, and I notice that the ties from my dress are coated in lady dye. The long ties that go to basically your butt have dipped into the toilet accidentally, and the entire, I would say,
I'm gonna be sick. I'm gonna be
3 inches of them are coated in lady dye.
Okay. Stop it right there. That's enough.
So I think this is where my problems end. So I'm furtively looking around to get scissors.
Oh my gosh! I think.
Are you outside of the porta potty?
I'm outside the porta potty, and I run to the caterer and I say, "Do you guys have any scissors?" And he says, "No, I just have a knife." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" I look behind me, and the entire back of my dress is coated. Okay.
What the hell?
Yes, coated. Because before I noticed, those tassels, those ties had swiped the back of my dress probably 30 or 40 times.
I'm speechless.
It is, Courtney, it is like a horror story. I think I'm in a bad dream.
Is this like a watershed moment for you where you're just like what were the 5 steps that led up to this moment in my life? How did I get here?
How did I get here? How the mighty have fallen. I thought I was just going to experience like a bougie evening, schmoozing with people, boozing with people. No, I am like coated in SHIT. I am sick as a dog, and but all I can think at this moment, my ego comes in full force and is like, I cannot be seen like this. I will not be seen like this.
With all of your fiance's childhood friends? Never.
Exactly. So Kagan at this point has seen me. He's with me. I've shown him what's happened. And I have a loving, wonderful fiance who still likes me blessedly after this whole experience. So he like helps me rush up to their upstairs residence. I go up the hallway backward. No one can see the back of my dress. Like I make sure that no one can see it. And of course, the bathroom is in use at the private residence. So I'm like trying to make conversation with the people in the kitchen in the inside experience. Meanwhile, I'm like holding the ties from the back of my dress to keep them from coating more. I finally find scissors when the people turn away. I cut the ties off. I throw them in the trash. And then the bathroom stops being used. And I'm like, oh, okay, I got to use the restroom. I get into the restroom and I spend I'm like feeling sick as a dog, but I spend the next 30 minutes because I'm also thinking I'm going to move on from this. I'm going to recover. I'm going to be able to make it to the rest of the night. So my main problem, like what takes over is get your dress wearable again because like it's covered in shit. Okay. And the back of it. And so I literally like I just am spotting the hell out of this dress in these people's bathroom. I basically put my dress in the shower.
As a woman with children, like small babies right now, I think you're like am very aware of like how pungent and toxic those materials are. And there's just nothing you can do. Like you're a goner.
Yeah, absolutely. It was hellish.
You have like a size of rice of poo on your outfit and everyone can smell it.
Oh, can smell it, can see it. It's disgusting. So but the will
you want that free dinner.
I want that stunning meal. I want to enjoy a cocktail. I want to have this evening. So I basically take my dress and put it through the ringer and I am just spotting the hell out of it for 30 minutes with toilet paper. My dress is fully drenched in water, like fully wet. Okay. I somehow am able to get it like passable after like I'm like sweating in the bathroom, elbow grease to get this out. And then I am blow drying my dress naked in this people's bathroom with just my underwear on.
Is Kagan still your element? So I bet that wasn't terrible.
Is Kagan still around? Yeah.
No, Kagan is not still around. I tell him I need 30 to 45 minutes. So I'm like, I need to take care of this. Just go, please. Just go. Be with your
happening?
friend.
Is this like cocktail hour?
Yeah, this is cocktail hour. So I'm somehow, by the grace of God above, able to get my dress passable again, okay? Because I think I just caught it enough in time and I was aggressive enough. But I swear to you, I was spotting it for 20 minutes and then blow drying it for another 20 to get it not soaking anymore. And I proceed to continue having lady dyes in this restroom. With a passable dress. But then Kagan texts me and he says, we're going to go to dinner. And I think, okay, dinner is starting. I think I can manage sitting at a dinner. Like I couldn't do standing and talking to people, but I think I could just sit. So I go to the dinner and I'm like getting by okay. Like I'm feeling nauseous still, but I'm getting by okay. But I cannot eat a single thing. Like they put down this filet mignon, this gorgeous potato gratin. They bring out the wine. I have one sip of wine and I cannot drink any more. I have one bite of steak. I cannot eat any more. Me not able to eat and drink. Those are my two favorite things. I cannot do either. The toasts begin. Kagan's friend says, oh, let's get a pic right before toasts begin. So we go out. She takes a pic of us. Somehow I'm able to be the Gigi Hadid of the universe and put on my best face and get a great photo. I truly amaze myself. But at the end of this photo taking moment, I am feeling so awful that I realize that I don't think I can sit through the toast and maintain facial composure. And everyone else goes back into the tent and goes back into the table and I go behind the tent. Okay. And because I don't want to be like convulsing around people, but there's nowhere to sit behind the tent. It's just like a field and the field is coated or covered in like straw. So to sit down on the field feels like there's all these things.
Well, you're basically like turning into a farm animal. So maybe straw.
Well, I mean, like I can't sit down on the ground is my point. There's nowhere to sit down. So I'm just standing, or now I'm squatting because I feel so terrible.
Which is going to spur another type of reaction.
My eyes are basically crossing. Like I feel so nauseous. I'm out there for probably 5 full minutes, and which feel like an eternity. Kagan comes out. It's clear I'm in like so much distress. So he takes me back up to the private residence area, and he's like, we just got to call you an Uber. So of course, this is like they live like 30 minutes outside the town. And so the Uber is 35 minutes away.
No.
Okay.
Wait, I didn't realize that.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. So I'm just laying on these people's couch, feeling sick as a dog. The Uber finally gets there.
Do people think you're like drunk?
No one thinks I'm drunk because I've been sick since the beginning.
Okay.
But since alcohol was even served.
But are people like almost like coronavirus now? This has to be uncomfortable.
That's what I always felt really bad about is people were coming into the residence area that were part of the wedding party. And I'd be like, oh, yeah, sorry, I'm just not feeling well. Sorry I brought COVID to your wedding.
Totally.
I felt so bad to be the sick person.
It's like you either have to kind of let people worry a tiny bit about coronavirus or like literally admit you're having lady die.
Yeah, exactly. And I just felt so bad being like not well at a wedding in this kind of global environment. Yeah, so it was terrible. And honestly, at that point, I felt nauseous and I had lady dies, but I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't know if I could have had COVID. So I'm thinking in my mind, holy crap, like what if I'm getting COVID right now?
Right.
And I have brought COVID to this wedding. So the Uber arrives. I depart and I don't make a scene. I just get into the Uber, I leave. And Chandler said, why didn't Kagan go with you? And I didn't want Kagan to come with me for 2 reasons. One, I'm just going to go home and be sick. And so I don't need the guilt of him having left like basically a reunion with all his childhood friends. That's like kind of once in a lifetime as an adult or once every couple years. Like his friends mean so much to him. And I didn't want him sitting bedside while I was sick.
Totally.
I just wanted him to have a great night. I didn't want more collateral damage. If I wanted him to go with me, I would have asked him and he would have, but I didn't want that. So I get in the Uber and I'm able to maintain composure enough. I put on my mask, but then I'm like, you have to not look sick because you're going to make this Uber driver scared that you're going to give him coronavirus, but you have to get home. I'm in the Uber.
Too, like on top of all of it.
I'm masked in the Uber home. The Uber drive is 35 minutes home. Okay, so it's not like a quick 10-minute drive. So the first 25 minutes are fine enough. We're getting 10 minutes away from the house and I'm feeling sicker and sicker. And I'm watching his phone and I'm watching where it says 10 minutes away, 8 minutes away. I look again, still 8 minutes. I look again, 7 minutes. I look 4 times, still 7 minutes. You know, it's just like the time is going so slow to get home. So it says 1 minute away. And I'm now realizing I'm going to throw up. Like I'm going to throw up. It might be in 90 seconds. It might be in 45 seconds, but it's going to happen somewhere in between the two. And we're 1 minute away. And finally, I just know, oh my gosh, I'm about to throw up. So I say, excuse me, sir, can you pull over? I'm about to throw up.
Oh my gosh.
And miraculously, he pulls over. He looks like, oh yeah. He pulls over immediately. I open the door. Thank goodness I wasn't like on some highway where it was going to take anything longer than 5 seconds. I'm 2 steps out the car. I proceed to violently vomit.
Oh my gosh.
5 times on the side of the road. Vomit all over my dress, all over my shoes, all over my feet. Like I couldn't control where it was going. It was just, it was evacuating out of my body.
Like
and
projectile.
We're going to have to put a trigger warning on this episode.
Yeah, honestly.
It was one of the most repelling, wretched moments of my life.
Lauren, I'm so sorry, but this is hysterical.
You know the vomit smell and taste in your mouth?
Right. Yes.
How bad it is? It is like, it's one of the most acidic, disgusting smells and tastes. I feel so bad. I get back in the Uber covered in vomit.
Back in the Uber?
Well, I don't have any vomit on like in the back of my dress or on the bottom of my shoes. It's just on the top. So I figured I have 3 more blocks to go. I'm not going to walk home. And then
Does he say anything?
I'm like, I am so sorry. And he was like, it's okay. We're only 3 blocks away. We're almost there. And he takes me home and he goes, hope you have a great night. Or I mean, at least a better one. I go upstairs. I take a shower. And actually, for a solid 30 minutes, I'm in the honeymoon period after throwing up. I'm actually feeling a lot better.
Right. You're like, this is over.
this is over. I got it out of my system. I'm feeling great. Like maybe I can make it to the after party.
Oh my gosh.
You covered in bile. Just maybe I can make it to the after party.
So Chandler, though, I called Chandler. Chandler's like, yeah. She's like, this might just be the beginning, though. Like, you might feel sick again in an hour. And I was like, no. I'm done with this. My body is like rocking this thing. And so 30 minutes later, I have the biggest fever. I have chills all over my body. I spend out till 2 a.m. between the toilet and the shower and the bed, feeling so sick. And I manage Kagan. Like, I'm delirious by midnight, and I text him, I need you to come home. I need you to bring Gatorade, and basically force me to drink Gatorade and water because I can't compel myself to take fluids down. I'm so weak. Like, I actually do need a nurse at this point.
I'm so sorry. You're like crying for mom.
Seriously.
Oh, yeah. I called mom. I called Chandler. I was like, I knew you were on vacation, and I also didn't want to worry you that I was going to come home to your house with sickness. So I just called mom and Chandler at that point and told them what was going on. Thank you. And then Kagan comes home. He sits bedside. And then I proceed to like finally fall asleep at 3 a.m. And I wake up and I feel like exhausted from the night before, but slightly better. And then I was fully better, I would say, about 2 o'clock. So it was just like classic food poisoning.
For sure.
Well, and didn't other people at the wedding have the same scenario?
I guess Kagan shared my bowel problems with everyone he met at the wedding. So sweet.
He makes a toast, talks about it.
But I guess 3 people, once they got to the higher altitude, had a few lady dies. That was not my situation. Like, I had violent food poisoning.
Right.
What do you think you ate?
So what was super strange is Kagan and I shared lunch. So we got the same thing. But I am convinced that one of my Korean tacos had undercooked beef in it, I think, or just some like bad or old beef, and Kagan got the good one. Like, that is what I'm convinced of, because that's honestly exactly what I saw come out, and that's basically all I ate that day. I guess the one plus side is that I didn't overeat and I didn't get too drunk at the wedding. So that's
silver linings, baby. Silver linings.
Silver linings.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
I was so sad.
Projectile vomiting, silver linings. A story by Lauren Bledsoe.
A poem by Lauren Bledsoe. A short story.
Oh.
Can you believe that?
No. I honestly, like, my stomach is churning.
Like, one of the most atrocious experiences of my life.
I'm so glad you and Kagan have been together for a long time, because if that was like a new boyfriend situation, like, that's truly like a recipe for a breakup.
There was one point, I don't know if this will be too much, but there was one point where he came in to the bedroom area or to our bedroom in the Airbnb, and I was fully naked, like using the restroom, and I had forgotten to shut the door, and my hair was I was like completely sweating and shivering, and I was like just curled on the toilet, and I just was like, welcome to marriage, baby.
Whoa, seriously.
That's all for now, folks. Don't forget, give us a 5-star review, hit us up on Instagram at Pop Apologists, and we will see you next week, live every Wednesday.